A Battle Bill here with another video. In today's video we have some early community day content. Shout out to the homie on the other side of the world in New Zealand, Blast the Mic, with these unique open Great League battles featuring Conkeldurr with its community day move of Brutal Swing. Brutal Swing is a dark type charge move. You've seen it before. It's on Ampharos, it's on a handful of other Pokemon. It gives Conkeldurr some insanely important coverage where it can finally do some damage to the psychic and ghost typings that would cause a fighter like Conkeldurr fits in the past. Now, I truly believe that Conkeldurr with Brutal Swing will do best in the Master Premier meta if or when we have access to it, but as of right now in Go Battle League, we've got Great League and Sunshine, so we gotta run the Conkeldurr where we've got the access for it. And right now, Mike sent us some super early battles, so any support on this type of content is greatly appreciated, and I'm gonna get into shoutcasting them now. I'm very excited to see how well Conkeldurr is able to perform with the moveset of Counter as a fast move, Dynamic Punch as a huge nuke, bang on the Pidgeot, and then Brutal Swing for some potential baits and the coverage that it desperately needed. Right now, we've got Superior up against a Wigglytuff, going for what should be a Frenzy Plant, probably the Frenzy Plant Aerial Ace combo. I don't know how close the other Pokemon in the back is to getting to a charge move. I think the Swampert is still alive back there. I think I saw hints of a Swampert. Or will the Superior outpace a Conkeldurr and we won't even see it, just barely falling short? I guess Brutal Swing was not a cheap enough energy move for that matchup. Getting into the next match, we've got a very bad matchup for Conkeldurr. It's still going to struggle against fairies. All of its moves are going to be resisted. Mike is able to save swap into Lickitung. The opponent's getting off a charge move, going to be a play rough. Mike is building up a bunch of energy, expecting them to try and swap and catch. Ends up they stay in. He throws the Power Whip. They then decide to pivot into Frostlass. He's going for a Body Slam bait. This is double resist as opposed to Power Whip doing neutral damage. Gets the shields. That's huge. Can we potentially see the Conkeldurr match up with this Frostlass in a little bit later game scenario, a little bit in the future from now? No, Mike decides to throw the Power Whip instead. I would love to see a Brutal Swing land on it. Oh, and he's going for it. He is absolutely going for it. That would be fantastic. Unfortunately, just falls short before the Frostlass gets a charge move off. Will the Frostlass be able to switch out in time? No, he overfarms a bit. Will the Conkeldurr survive an avalanche in the Great League? It does not. On that, super unfortunate. I want to see the Brutal Swing land so badly. The Frostlass is now going ham. Mike wanted to just get some additional energy because that Azu was still lurking in the back with a bunch of health. And now, unfortunately, this Frostlass is about to pop off. I wonder if he just, threw the Brutal Swing at the perfect timing, gets enough energy to build up to a Dynamic Punch before the Azu gets to that play rough. Maybe we see the third Mon. I don't even think we saw the third Mon and has a potential chance there. Regardless, next match, Conkeldurr winning a lead since everybody and their mother is running Steelix. They save swap into Medi. Mike has the perfect counter for that in the form of Wigglytuff. Does have to shield up and respect a Psychic, which is a little unfortunate. The Steelix comes back in, and this is a really awkward matchup because Steel usually does very well against Fairy, but Steelix is like the weirdest Steel type because it's running Dragon Tail and Breaking Swipe, so they're building all the way up to an Earthquake, and then of course all of this Fairy damage from Wigglytuff is being resisted on the Steelix. You want to land the Ice Beams, but regardless, the opponent then pivots after the Conkeldurr shows its face. It's afraid of the fighting typing, not surprising. Unfortunately, you don't really need Brutal Swing. Maybe as a potential bait in that matchup. But regardless, we've got Lickitung up against Azu. Will this endgame scenario play better than the last match? Will Mike be able to pull out the win? Azu is bubbling up. The Lickitung throwing the super effective Power Whip here. Will it get the shield? No, it puts the Azu into the yellow. It's basically in Body Slam rage. Mike has no shields left. Gonna have to eat a play rough. Will the opponent try and swap and catch the charge move? They decide not to. He's getting the Body Slam off. Will this take out the Azu or get the final shield? It gets the last shield. The opponent decides to top left because they know alignment is not in their favor. Getting into the next match, Conkeldurr with another good lead. Superior pivots in and is still able to outpace to the Aerial Ace bars. before Conkeldurr gets to the Brutal Swing, which is super unfortunate. Mike is deciding to stay in this matchup. Will the Dynamic Punch land? It does. He then pivots, catches the next Aerial Ace. Conkeldurr, again, it would perform better in Masters. It's going to be quite glassy in Great League because of the fact that, its high stat product allows its CP to get to a higher range. Usually those Master type Mons don't have as great of stat products in the open Great League level, which is why you have to be careful with its potential glassiness, which we've already, seen throughout this set. Regardless, now the Lickitungs are matched up. We've got one of the most boring matchups you'll ever see in a Great League match or in a Play Pokemon match if you watch the most recent regional in Sacramento. The Licks are double resisted, so it just comes down to body slams going back and forth. Mike decides to pivot, recognizing this, but now unfortunately gets the Conkeldurr stuck on an Azumarill. I don't know why I said that like that. Regardless, going to be chucking Dynamic Punches. Both are going to be singularly resisted, but is going to at least get stabbed from Dynamic Punch. Plus, it's the big nuke move. I was gonna say big tank move, but Conkeldurr don't got anything tanky about it here. Regardless, gets a shield on the Brutal Swing. I guess the opponent decided, you know what, we gotta commit a shield to something. Mike is over farming, getting greedy again, unfortunately, and Conkeldurr goes down. The Azu's going to get to another move. We got some rotating action there. Maybe that was like a way for him to throw up a third shield. Guess doesn't have his auto lock for his phone on, because this is a trippy experience. I apologize for anybody who gets motion sickness from any of that, because that was an experience to watch. I didn't know it happened twice. I thought it only happened once when I was editing it. That was very funny to see. Regardless, the Wigglytuff goes down, is not able to charm, and that ends up being a GG. Getting to the next match, we have another Conkeldurr up against another Lickitung lead. The opponent then save swaps into Gligar. Mike matches with his Lickitung. We get to see how this matchup plays between some two highly, very meta Mons. The Gligar lands the dig. The Shadowness does a huge chunk of damage to the Lickitung. Mike is getting off his first body slam, ends up getting the Gligar into the yellow. Will Mike commit a shield? Does he need alignment? He decides to call the Aerial Ace bait, and unfortunately ends up calling incorrectly because they ended up double digging. YouTube, I said dig, D-I-G. Thank you very much. Not another word that it might sound like. Regardless, Wigglytuff going for the charm down. Unfortunately, shields up an Aerial Ace bait. The opponent then puts the Lickitung onto the Wigglytuff, which still isn't that great of a matchup for Lickitung, just based on the fact that the Licks are going to be double resisted because of Wigglytuff being a normal fairy, but the last Mon on the back is probably going to be an actual answer for Mike's Conkeldurr, and it kind of is. It's a Carbuncle bonk. With that fairy rock typing, going to be taking a bunch of neutral damage from this, from these. Carbink's going to take a bunch of neutral damage from the Conkeldurr. I thought I was saying it backwards. Huge call on the potential bait, building up to another Dynamic Punch here. Very nicely done. Will this get the opponent's last shield? And we got a little more rotating action there out of nowhere. The Conkeldurr survives the rock throws to get off another Dynamic Punch. Does this do enough damage? It does not. He swaps into the Wigglytuff to try and snipe a charm, but Carbink is so thick that it survives, gets off the rock slide. The Lickitung comes back in. Will Mike get to a disarming voice in time, and unfortunately just falls short. The body slam should take out the Wigglytuff. Conkeldurr does not have enough health to punch down the Lickitung, and that is a short set of some Brutal Swing Conkeldurr battles in the Open Great League. We unfortunately did not get to see its full potential Brutal Swing in most of the matchups. Most of the matchups, we really just won the third Dynamic Punch. I still wish we can go back to that second match against Frostlass where he overfarmed and would have thrown the Brutal Swing. Would have proved useful there. But regardless, let me know your thoughts on the battle. I hope you have a fantastic community day. It's triple dust. Brutal Swing is a must on Conkeldurr if you want to run it for some Masters content, or even try it out in Great League or Ultra League, but I highly recommend it in the Master League. Should definitely see some increased play there. On that note, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you all in the next video. Preach!